Hello, welcome back. Today I'll be building the Ford Bronco in 1/25th scale by Revell. Got the bodywork here and it's in pretty good nick actually. There wasn't really any sanding needed to be done, so I primed it in white and then used this Ford Bermuda blue. I went back to doing the engine. I'd painted these in silver in advance of this, but as it turned out, silver wasn't the right colour, and after assembling most of this, I then painted it blue. This is the V8 version. I think that this car also came with an inline-6 cylinder back when it was new in the 1960s. I masked over the end of the gearbox here, which needs to say silver, and then painted the rest in light blue from Tamiya. The engine's fairly detailed, coming with these belts and fans. Chose to leave this fairly stock without adding any extras. I weighed up drilling into the distributor here and wiring it up, but chose not to. Fits into the ladder frame like so. This has been painted semi-gloss black on the underside, as you can see here. There's various other parts which need to be glued onto this as well. Found that the exhaust needed a bit of trimming in places. There was a little bit of flash on this. Car shows its age with the leaf spring suspension, feature which I think stayed on a few too many American cars for too long. There was also some technology in this car, such as this here, which I believe let the car switch between two-wheel and four-wheel drive. There's a good amount of detail on this. Here you can see the drive shaft being connected to the differential on the rear axle. I found this part here didn't actually fit very well. Needed to do a bit of sanding to help. We've got these shock absorbers as well. These were painted silver, and then I used some red Sharpie to do the red parts, as you can see. And some Panaline accent just to pick out the springs. And did the same with the front suspension as well. Some of the parts of the undercarriage here are very fiddly, and I'd say that one area that the instructions could be a little bit better is, say, this part here, which I've added to the right of the engine. It just needs to be clearer. Here you can see bodywork all painted in that light blue. You've got a full decal sheet here, including these optional stripes. Refer to the instructions to see where they need to go. Started by doing this Ford logo on the back. You've got either black or white. Put that in water for about 15 seconds. And I'm using some Mr. Mark Setter Neo to help this adhere. Need to be careful with this because you need to get them as straight as possible. Doesn't look so good at the moment, but I'll sort them out before they glue down. It's a bit better, and just use a damp cotton bud just to push them securely into place. These stripes that go down the side are particularly challenging. I think the most important thing is just to be patient with them. Try not to get frustrated because that's how tears can happen. Put on a little bit of softener afterwards to help them adhere as best as possible. Now this bonnet decal I accidentally cut through whilst I was removing it, so it was important to get this down as neat as possible and to join up the pattern with the bit that I'd removed. It's good. So now I'm using a little bit more of the Mark Setter to add some other decals, such as these Bronco logos. I know there is a photo etch set that you can get to replace these decals with metal parts. However, this being an American release, it's very, very difficult to find in the UK. 302 cubic inches would make this about a 5 litre. You've also got these little door lock decals for the sides, which is a really nice feature. Now I've chosen to keep the seats in white, and you've got these nice little sort of, I think it's like a houndstooth pattern, decals to go on those. It's a really nice touch. Again, putting them into place, using some softener, and then a cotton bud to push them into the pattern of the seats. This support bar on the back needs to be black. That's been masked away. Try to be as neat as possible with this. I think that's fair enough. And then the seat cushions go on top. Make sure you get these the right way round, as they need to fit these armrests. They're sandwiched together with two parts and the bars painted black. You can see how they fit onto the sides here. Pretty happy with that. And then the floor's been done in satin black. You've got these little connector parts here for the seat, also done in black. Now you've got some little holes to drill on here. You need to drill those if you're going to add the roll bar. I think earlier versions of the Bronco didn't feature the roll bar, so yeah, it depends on how new you want your model to be. And then just fit the seats. Gear stick goes in the middle. Now the door cards have been painted blue as well as the dash and this interior of the tailgate, but I've masked this to paint this in satin white. It's okay, it's not perfect. And the top of the dash needs to be black. This is satin black, the same as I used for the floor of the car. The wheels are done in white. These ones need to have red in the middle of the hub. There are some visible wheel nuts and things, but if you're going to put the hubcap over the top, you won't see any of those. So you can see I've put the rear in and the little stud to connect it to the axle, and then on the tyre it goes. Chosen to sand the back of the hubcap to remove the chrome so that it glues nicely. And here are the other ones. Got the little metal axle connector there, and onto the tyre it goes. All the tyres are the same, but the wheels are slightly different, so make sure you get them right when you're assembling yours. I'll add some panel line accent to this later to pick out some details. Now there are decals to go on the wheels, but I've chosen to do this afterwards so that I can be more comfortable with applying a bit of pressure. I want to be nice and gentle to connect these. Oh, that's popped the rear differential. I'll have to fix that. So there we are, 4 on the floor, and what it looks like with the interior. Here's the door cards, nice and dry. Now I've found that the silver parts really pop if you put down a bit of black first. So black Sharpie and then silver Posca paint pen over the top. I think that looks nice. And then some mark setter for the patterned parts on the door card. Not bad. And just to pick out the details, I've got some light grey panel liner here. Add a bit of shading. You've got these red circular decals which go on the hubcaps. These are quite difficult. And then assemble the door cards. Fitment of these parts is pretty good. Now for the dashboard here, I picked out details in black, including the switches, and then I'm going over the top with some silver. I found these switches looked really good with just a little dot of silver on the top. Got the little outline of the black paint around the back. Really was the look I was going for. There's a couple of decals here, including a Bronco logo that goes above the steering wheel, and the instrument panel, and then just a bit of panel line accent to pick out the speaker and the edge of the glove box. Fitment of some parts, like the steering column here, wasn't so good, so just used a craft blade to open that hole up a little bit better. Chose to leave the steering wheel section all in white, just to add a little bit of contrast. I think it more commonly would have been black. You've got 2 options for the badge, both of them with the blue oval. I went with the silver one. And there's the dashboard done. So the bodywork has now been clear coated. That means I can paint the inside of the bonnet area here, and also some of these lights that go on the side. Just like with the other silver parts, I chose to do this in black first. Really helps the silver look that little bit shinier. And here's the silver over the top once the black had cured. Need to be very careful when using masking tape over the decals, even though this has been clear coated. And you've got a large chrome strip that goes around all parts of the car, just like the other parts. This was done in black first, that was let to cure, and then silver over the top. I'm using Revell Aqua for most of these. It's my go-to paint for brushing. It's not bad. Also got a little handle on the back. And then you've got chrome strips down the sides as well. Revell Aqua can normally be scratched away pretty easily, so it's good in case you make any mistakes. I'm then using an orange Sharpie over the top of the silver to do the side indicators. The dashboard fits into place here, and then slide the interior into the bodywork. There we have it. And it fits quite nicely. You just need to make sure that all of the little pins connect up on the bottom. Like here, you see it's not quite perfect. Then you've got this fan section which goes together like so, and then that just wedges into place. I found this didn't need any glue. And then those are joined up together with this little S-shaped pipe. Some decals then go on top of all of the engine parts. I also realised that I missed one onto the starter, I believe, earlier on, but tried my best. You've got indicators that go onto the radiator at the front, which need to be orange. Now I chose to leave the grille in chrome. However, sometimes these were painted white, sometimes they were body colour, sometimes they were more a kind of dull metallic. I quite liked how it looked in chrome, thought it sort of indicative of the style at the time. Then you got the little orange indicators as well. I fitted all of these using foam safe super glue. It's much less likely to mist the clear parts. Make sure that the Ford logo is the right way up when attaching this, and then you've got the bumper as well. Not bad so far. Got this space here for the rear number plate, and the rear lights don't actually have any clear parts, so I used a Sharpie over the top of the chrome parts. Little Colorado number plate goes on here. It recommends to leave the other one on the backing paper and glue it to the front. I'll show you what I did later. You've got three choices for the Ford logos. I chose to go for the red one as I like the contrast. Now for this spare wheel cover on the back, I've chosen to go white. I've left the inside of the back black though. Window surrounds are done in silver, and then I've used a bit of black just to add the sort of rubber trim. Again, foam safe super glue, and very carefully glued them into place. Rear view mirror. And pretty soon after you attach the window, it's a good idea to attach the side windows as well. A few more chrome parts. So as you can see here, the side windows need to join up to the window at the front. So it's a good idea to hold those in place for a little while, just to make sure that they're all perfect. And then the roof is in satin white. Make sure that you've got these the right way up. They definitely fit best one way rather than the other. And the spare wheel just slots onto here. I'll add some glue to this later. I chose not to glue this so that it can move. Only one wing mirror, made of 2 parts, so glue that nice and carefully. Now for the wheel cover, I chose to use the leftover Ford logo to go on that. I think that looks pretty good. And finally, just a bit of black onto the wipers to add the rubber trim. And with that, the car is finished. Finally, the front number plate was attached to some aluminium foil and glued to the bumper. Here we are, and there it is. Now for the BOAB score. Value, this was £25 new, which I think's good, so that's a 4. For assembly, Revell said this was a level 5, but I didn't find it too difficult, so I'm going to give it a 4. Accuracy, seems good to me, detailed interior, engine bay and undercarriage, so another 4. Quality is pretty good, this is a recent Revell kit, maybe not up to the standard of the Germany kits, I'm going to give it a 3. Finally for legacy, this is Ford's first SUV in a long-running range. However, I wouldn't say that it's particularly well known outside of America, and they never sold this in Europe or other continents, so I'm going to give it a 2. That gives it a total of 17 out of 25, which seems a little low, but yeah, I do recommend this kit, especially if you like your off-roaders. Let me know what you think down below. Have you built this one? Would you like to in the future? And I'll see you soon.